Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Please make sure that you subscribe to the program on all of the major podcast platforms. We are out there on all of them. Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, all of them. Please find this program so that we can continue the conservative message. Also, please make sure that you stop by our GoFundMe page to sponsor the program. Not just one time, but monthly sponsorships to keep the conservative message going. We've just received our new podcast ratings. We're number 7 in America, and in Europe, growing exponentially. Number 2, number 3, number 10 in many, many of the European countries and nations. And we are so blessed, so grateful for all of the friends across the planet who have reached out to this program, to me, to give messages of support and encouragement, not only for the program, but for Donald Trump and for the American effort to rid the world of the communist socialist movement that we're experiencing. Today's show, Charlie Ward. And before I get to Charlie, let me remind you to stop by one of our friends, thecommandersartist.com. This man is the personal commissioned artist of General Michael Flynn. And his artwork, his patriotic prints of patriots around the world is incredible. I'm going to put a few of them up on the screen now. He's also responsible for our logo here in the studio of The Right Side. The Commander's Artist. Here's his website and some of the prints that he does. Call him, email him, look at his products. He has agreed to discount his products on the website as a favor to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Check him out, please. All right, here we go. Charlie Ward. 2 days until the virtual, the possible, the maybe it will happen, maybe it won't happen, inauguration of Joe Biden. Charlie Ward remains convinced that President Trump will be reset for another 4 years as president. We will see. We will see. And I think that we need to have the discussion that Charlie and I did about information shared, information observed. It's an important episode. We hope that you watch. And we also hope that you support Charlie and his channel as well as this channel. It's a united global effort to get the truth to the people so that they can be awake to see it and intellectually mature enough to handle it. Because the commie socialists, the people on the left who would shut us down and try to stifle us, clearly are not awake and not intellectually mature. So right now, here we go, The Right Side with Doug Billings and Charlie Ward. Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Charlie Ward. Charlie, thanks again so much for making time to be on the program. I appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. We're living in a wonderful time right now.
Wonderful time. It's a wonderful life, as Jimmy Stewart would say, once upon a time. I want to start off, Charlie, by asking your opinion and getting an answer from you. There are a number of podcasters out there, and I'm sure you've heard of, some of the rumors. I'll just cut right to the chase. And I know you're a man who wants to just, you'll just give a direct answer to a direct question. Are you a CIA operative that has been hired to disperse disinformation to either confuse us or calm us down? Any truth to any of that?
No, absolutely not. But this is what you expect in the battle of war. You get accused of all kinds of things, and I've been accused of many things. The only contact I've ever had with anybody to do with the CIA is Robert David Steele, who was a former employee.
Yep.
I've got 2 other former CIA operatives who contacted me. They used to work for the CIA, and they gave me first-class intel, but they didn't want me to name them publicly because they're currently working with the Trump team to expose what's gone on in the past. One of them was a captain on a plane in the late 70s and through the 80s. I knew that they were transporting drugs from the Far East into America and to South America. And the other one was a first officer on a plane and gave me first-hand information, which was incredibly valuable. But no, I'm not on Mossad or the CIA's payroll or anybody's payroll at all. The only person I take orders from is my wife.
as most do. So good. No alphabet soup membership, or
No,
no FBI, no CIA, no
I
nothing.
was offered 30 years ago the chance to go to a Masonic lodge and chose to turn it down.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
whatever reason,
Yeah.
probably just God had his hand on me and told me not to go anywhere close to it.
Okay. I was listening to a show yesterday. I won't name the name of the podcaster, but clearly there are gentlemen out there. Sometimes they appear by themselves. Sometimes they appear, as a duo, and sometimes they've got a third person on there, and they are CIA operatives. Their only purpose is to confuse you. I knew they're talking about you and Simon Parkes, and just wanted to make sure we clear that up.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll clear up that point as well about Simon, because one thing I do know about Simon, his past and crop circles and everything else, that's his choice. That's what he does. But I can assure you of one thing, that the people that I have direct contact with, that I get my information from, have a lot of respect for him. And I like him an awful lot. And I find his information confirms the information I've got, but from a different perspective.
Yep.
And if when you start digging into people's histories, I can assure you, my history has not been cleaned by any sense of the imagination. But the most important thing, Doug, is this is a distraction from the truth. They use this to distract people away. I get the finger pointed at me for many things, but I'm sticking firmly to the truth. And my truth is no better than anybody else's truth. It's my perception of the truth. Everyone has a right to their perception of the truth. And that's what we need to keep focused on, not these little cat fights.
Right.
And we will get infiltrated by the deep state and the cabal, who try and discredit us or whatever. Doesn't bother me one little bit, Doug. Stick to the truth and we'll get through this. Absolutely fine.
Understood. I stand with you shoulder to shoulder on that one, and with Simon as well. I have found you both not only to be gentlemen, but the information that you have, and this show, for example, is a platform to share information. I've told people ever since the first time you and I appeared, and Simon as well. But I've said that, look, in my experience, when you're sharing information, sometimes information of this nature is true and spot on right away. Everybody knows it. Everybody can see it. Many times, though, some of this information takes time to develop or percolate, as I say, and it takes time to come true. Some of it won't come true because behind the scenes, there are changes constantly morphing and evolving into other directions and and going down other avenues. Isn't that? Don't you agree with that?
100%. And I keep bringing people back to the game of chess. You have to forfeit your own pieces to win the game.
Yep. Yeah.
You have to forfeit the queen.
Yes. Yep.
To win, but the king always wins.
So, with regards to, and since again, I must give a shout out to the people of the world who have found this program because of you. There are many people around the globe, and I'm sure you get the same kinds of messages. Thank you from Germany. Thank you from Italy. Thank you from Poland, Australia, wherever. Thank you for dispensing this information and for giving your opinion on it. Now, given your past, your stance, you and I, when we spoke last, you felt firmly committed to the fact that President Donald Trump will, in fact, have another 4 years in office. Now, is there any part of you that has plan B in mind? Is there any part of you that, okay, looks like Biden might actually get in? What now? What do we do next? Any part of you that has a plan B with regards to that question?
The only plan B that would even come anywhere close to reality is if John F. Kennedy Jr. was alive and took the place of Donald Trump.
Okay.
That's the only thing I could see.
Goodness. All right. So still firmly committed and confirmed to the fact that Trump will be in.
100%.
Excellent. Tell me what you can about that opinion. I want to know why and how you're so committed to that. How? I mean, I'm not asking for names or sources.
Names.
Yeah. Okay.
The person that confirmed that is God.
God
has chosen to use Donald Trump to drain the swamp. Donald Trump committed to do it without taking a cent in payment because he's doing God's work. God will reimburse him in other ways.
Excellent. Okay.
So that's why I have 100% confidence.
Okay, good. What about now? Let's talk about Washington, D.C. in particular, and then I'll turn to more of a global aspect in a moment. But the troops. A couple of weeks ago, I commented on my platform that if you think some odd 40,000 troops are there just to protect a virtual inauguration, you're not thinking clearly. What are your thoughts on all of that? I read, today's latest news is the FBI itself is vetting every single military officer and enlistee, every single military person in DC, because there are rumblings within the military that there is dissension among the ranks with regards to this entire situation that we're talking about.
Well, with that particular question, you're going to have to watch my next video, which is with Mel Kay.
Okay.
Because she's actually in Washington, D.C. and has spoken to the troops.
Okay.
I'm speaking to her in less than an hour's time.
Okay.
So we'll find out very, very soon. Mel Kay has gone there with Ann Vandersteel to find out the truth. And the truth is very, very different from what we're hearing from any form of media. She said it's incredibly calm. Yes, you can tell things are going on, but look, you don't need all those troops for a virtual inauguration.
Yep.
The question is, what's going to happen on Tuesday? Because I was told last week the weekend would be, there's a lot happening over the weekend, and then Tuesday is popcorn day.
Okay.
So we know a lot happened over the weekend. We know that 5 or 6 governments stood down around the world: Germany, Italy, Holland, Kuwait, Russia, Estonia. These countries all stood down. Their government stood down.
Yeah.
And we've got hard evidence of that. So we've backed that up. Secondly, the CIA headquarters was raided by the Marines, by the military in America. And they've come out with an absolute ton of evidence. So that is huge, huge news. We also know that the FBI have the support from the Pentagon is now gone. So they whatever they do is got no power now. And I can see the same happening with the CIA. I can see both the agencies being dismantled by Trump because they're both contaminated to such a level.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. So when I hear you say that raid, and what can you give us is there any glimmer of the type of evidence other than, I mean, is there anything you can share? Is there anything that any type of, it certainly must be related to corruption to some degree?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. But I had, I've got it from a military general in America who's told me that he was part of the team that went in there.
Okay.
They went in there and they went in with force. I'm just going to see exactly where are we? There we go. According to the latest schedule, everything will be exposed sometime between Sunday afternoon and Monday night. This has come directly from somebody very high up in the military. The timer has been set for the 2 particular days during the time the emergency broadcast system will be activated. Where are we? No, that was right. That was now where was that? No, this is that was about blah, 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 blah. That was Right, 1 second. That was, I've had so many in this morning. That was, let me find the one with the correct protocol for. I published it on my page as well. The fact that it was incredible information, but they basically went into. There you go. Here we go.
Yeah, take your time. It sounds interesting.
This came from a Marine that was at the CIA headquarters. The U.S. Marines raided the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, in Langley, Virginia, this past weekend. The Marines retrieved a lot of evidence implicating well-known politicians of embezzlement, election rigging, identity fraud, assassination plots, murders, domestic terrorism, and paedophilia. I've listed the following 23 items for your interest to summarize. Number one, the CIA headquarters was raided and the FBI has been neutralized, and 35 trillion US dollars of US Treasury embezzled funds have been recovered. About 100 trillion.
Was that 30? Yep.
35 trillion.
35 trillion. Okay.
Yeah. About 100 trillion.
Got it.
Has been embezzled by the Bushes and the Clintons. Number two, Donald Trump reopened the President John F. Kennedy assassination files, and George H.W. Bush was behind it. JFK autopsy photographs were falsified. Item three, the sexual harassment outings of all members of Congress in the mainstream media distraction for what was really going on. The US Marines raided the CIA headquarters and President Trump imposes military martial law behind the scene. Item
That's
four.
interesting. Yeah.
Go on.
Yep. Keep on going.
Alex Jones of InfoWars is a traitor and a national security threat who is connected with the diversion of Mossad and the State of Israel's secret intelligence agency. Number five, Hillary Rodham Clinton has ordered the murders through domestic assassination squads of Ron Brown, Commerce Secretary, William Colby, Director of Central Intelligence, Vince Foster, Deputy White House Counsel, and John F. Kennedy Jr., son of the assassinated President John F. Kennedy, and many others. Item six, then Republican presidential candidate Trump was right that Senator Ted Cruz's father was implicated with Lee Harvey Oswald. Item seven, I'll send you a copy of this across so that you've got a copy of this.
Thank you.
It goes through that California Representative Adam Schiff, ranking member of the House Permanent Select Committee of Intelligence, and Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, former White House Chief of Staff, and US President Barack Obama are connected with the Mossad. Both Schiff and Emanuel are pedophiles. Barack Obama,
My Lord.
number eight, Barack Obama was born in Kenya, and the former president has committed identity fraud. Obama should be arrested for the identity fraud. But that I've gone through the top eight of 23 different ones. I'll send a copy of that across. I put it onto my chat group as well. But
Thank you.
There's a lot of information there.
That's deep and fascinating and frightening on many levels. Let me switch to more of a global perspective with regards to the governments that shut down. What impact, and I'm asking you as a person who is over in Europe, affects how much is the European Union affected by this? Is it in chaos? Is it in danger of collapse? And then number two, there's two parts. Remind me, I want to talk about Rothschild, his death in light of the whole restructuring attempt to restructure the world finance system.
The European Union was part of Trump's plan to break down because of the fact that he referred to it as the Nazi states of Europe.
Yes.
If they were a company, corporation, they would be in every single court in the land for a million things. The European Union has never been audited, not once. If that was a company, you'd be shut down a long time ago. And the reason they can't audit it is because there's so much corruption to do with the finances of it. So it's impossible for them to be audited because it's just absolutely riddled with corruption. So it's a very important part, the taking down of the European Union. Europe as an area, as a continent, there's nothing wrong with. It's just the political arena that's controlling it is top heavy with bureaucrats and totally corrupt.
What I'm assuming the answer to your question is going to be yes, but I don't want to lead you. So let me just say this or ask this question with regards to China. I'm convinced that the United States is already at war with China. Cyber war, certainly. It may go deeper than that. What kind of danger is Canada, Europe in with regards to China?
Let's get it right about China. It's the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, that the USA has a problem with, not with the Chinese people. Most of the Chinese people are not linked to the Communist Party, but the powerful Communist Party are evil. And yes, you're absolutely right. America is at war with the Communist Party because they're being destroyed. Chairman Xi will be setting up a new Republican Party in China. And of course, they're not happy because they've been in control for years and years and years. So yes, it's one hell of a fight. And the Chinese are very, very clever. The Communist Party are very, very clever. They come into your country, Doug, and they say, fine. They came to me and they said, we'll give you 2.5 billion to invest in any good projects in your country. And you don't have to pay it back, and it's interest free. But we need an introduction to this person. And that's how they operate.
Wow.
And Donald Trump, being a businessman, saw it from a million miles away. From a politician's point of view, oh, it's such an ego boost. Oh, I've got this man here who's going to invest in our country. We don't need to pay it back. I tell you what, we can lend it out and make 1% on that money. We're super, super rich. It's what a lot of these politicians have done. So they've taken the money for the introduction. And then, of course, when they give it to me, if they give it to me, then they go, right, we want to introduce to this politician. Fine. I can introduce you to that politician. And then they'll talk to the politician and say, look, we've given Charlie this money to invest in projects. We'd really appreciate if you've got some projects. So they're very, very clever how they work. And then they want more and more. They go through, they wait and they go through all the different politicians till they get all the ones they want on side. And then without you knowing, the web, they're like spiders with a web. Very, very clever. And you're trapped into them. And you thought you were getting all this money for nothing.
Charlie, it sounds exactly like what's going on with the Biden crime family. The recently declassified information in the documents that I read just yesterday, stating exactly what you've just stated about the Biden family.
100%. This is why Joe Biden was like, I never talk to my son. I never talk to my son about my business. And you just go, absolute garbage. You and your son and the whole family are up to their eyeballs in it. And he's got this mentality that if I deny it, it will go away. Well, those days are over.
I said from the beginning, I want to get your gut check on what I said several months ago. I don't see Biden. Clearly, I understand your opinion about him. He'll never ascend to the presidency. I understand that. I have never seen him as a viable player in any of this, a complete puppet. That's been discussed ad nauseum. Everyone's talked about that. What I want to get your take on is with regards to this. The level and depth of their crime certainly is not. We know about the Ukraine. We know about their connections to China. Is there anything out there I might have missed with regards to the Biden family that you can or the audience may have missed with regards to the Bidens?
Well, when I first started investigating Joe Biden, the fact that he created an accident to kill his first wife as a sacrifice to move up within the Masons, that was the first thing I found out. And it didn't take me a couple of hours to find that out. And then to go to the next level, he sacrificed Hunter's wife and child to go up to the next level in the Masons. It didn't take me too long to find that out. And yet not one professional journalist has ever established that. And yet it took me a couple of hours. And I'm a 60-year-old granddad.
How is there any hope in the world for the mainstream media? How do we begin to detach them as the the primary ally of disinformation from the corrupt politicians and politics within the world. What you and I are, I don't know. I assume you are not a trained journalist. I am not.
No.
I was in healthcare administration as an executive before COVID hit, going back to my roots here doing broadcasts. I think that clearly there is a cabal of media. There are allies with the corrupt politicians. In your view, and with the research that you've done, Charlie, how do we decouple that, or can we?
Yeah, it's about to happen. First things first. Donald Trump has the intel on every single journalist who's been publishing fake information. They have every single piece of evidence about those individuals. They have a team that have investigated every single one. So they know exactly what they're dealing with. With regard to the owners, there's only 6 owners of the world's media. So that's quite easy. And there's going to come a time, I think this week, where he's going to make a statement. And when the president makes a statement, he's going to request that it's put out live by all the media outlets. And I believe that those who refuse to put it out will have their broadcasting licenses revoked immediately. That's my feeling.
Okay, interesting. All right, we've only got a couple of minutes. I said that I wanted to talk just a minute about Rothschild and the world of finances. One of the Rothschilds died. I don't know if that's coincidence or not. Maybe you can touch on that if you know. My primary question of interest is with regards to world finance. I know that you have a bit of a hobby with regards to finance. What do you see on the horizon with regards to any specific and major changes in how the world financial structure is going to change?
In answer to your first question about Rothschild, it was actually posted on Q before he died that he would die of a heart attack. So that's quite interesting.
Okay, I did.
Wow. Q posted that way in advance that he was going to die of a heart attack, and it came to being. So that's that side. With regard to the financial system, we're about to change financial systems from the old fiat currency, SWIFT system, across to the quantum financial system. So that currencies worldwide will be backed by precious metals. That's the side that I've been working with, and it's a digital currency. It's a blockchain technology for the bulk of it, and it's quantum physics and quantum science. It's an amazing system, but it'll become very, very clear exactly what it is when it's released. But there will still be cash, and there'll still be coins, notes and coins. That's why the USD will change to the USN, the US note, and the US coin. And that'll be the transition. Okay. But I think from virtually every single person's point of view, your old dollar will go 1-for-1 into the new dollar. You don't have any worries with that. The only time you've got to worry is if your money is already contaminated by drugs, pedophilia, or anything like that, then you'll lose the lot.
Same thing for our friends in Europe and other places. No need for them to be concerned.
Absolutely no need to be concerned at all. The only concern you'll have in the world, for those people that are not awake or aware right now, we have to learn compassion as we help them out of the darkness into the light.
Right.
Rather than slap them around the face and say, "I told you so."
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, Charlie, I promised a 30-minute time here. We're at that point. I want to honor your schedule. I'm grateful to you for taking the time to speak with me. I understand that we're going to try to do this once a month or so, and I'm grateful for that as well, Charlie. Anything else in closing?
The only thing in closing that if you when you've watched this video with Doug, watch the next one with Mel Kay, because she's in Washington, D.C. and can give us an absolutely up-to-date inside info as to what's exactly happening. She's there with Ann van der Stil, and I'm speaking to them next.
Excellent. We will take note, and I'll make sure that we remind people to do that, Charlie. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers, Doug.
Cheers.